Hey now, welcome to my side of the internet. My name is Soncerae Monique. I am a life coach for both men and women. I have a 50-50 audience, so I've been trying to find a way to, just be fair to both genders. I want everybody to unify. The gender war that everyone is currently seeing on the internet day in and day out is something I've been seeing since 2008 because it originally started here on YouTube. So my YouTube audience is 50-50. I believe that my Instagram audience is 50-50, but the only place where it's predominantly women is TikTok. If you are a gentleman, you can go to sonceraemonique.com to request a one-on-one coaching session or FaceTime or a 45-minute call. You could just go to Soncerae.com and you can see where you can request one. For exclusive videos and photos, you can click on for gentlemen only and take it from there. So I saw this post on Facebook. It's from a gentleman. His name is Johnny Rain. I don't know if that's his government, but that's what he says his name is. It says, I asked this woman I've been talking to for a minute for $100. I get it. What do you need it for? When do I get it back? A whole bunch of questions. I planned a trip for us in the mountains in Colorado for 4 days. Hotel cost per night, $200. Whitewater rafting, $150 per person. Zip lining, $125 per person. Hot air balloon, $250 per person. SUV rental, $80 a day. Not to mention food costs. I had all this covered. Just cancel everything and got my deposits back. I didn't need the $100. I was just seeing what type of response I get if I asked for it. I didn't ask when do I get my money back. When I was planning the vacation, I just was handling business. People don't think long term. Test failed. I don't know why y'all insist on testing people. I don't know what these games are about, but I think this could be viewed in two different ways, okay? Of course, a negative perspective and a positive perspective. Okay, so this is a negative response. You get to choose how you respond to what women say to you, their inquiries, what they do. And usually when you do that, you have a negative, unfulfilling life after that. If you look at everything from a positive perspective, as if someone's not trying to harm you, then you start to understand a lot of people a lot better, because not everybody's out to get you. And if you're looking around for something negative, you're going to find it. He had ill intentions asking for $100 he didn't need, so karmic forces gave him back that energy. So he asked her for $100. And mind you, fellas, if you ask a woman for $100 and she starts questioning you about what do you need it for, just 1,000 questions, consider that she probably needs it. It has nothing to do with her, being mean to you, or especially if you are in the beginning stages of your relationship, she could just possibly need it. A lot of women do not have their finances in order, and men who are financially stable, it would make more sense for you to care where a woman stands financially, because it affects your finances. I hate every time I see a man who claims to be successful and who makes well over 6 figures and says, hey, I don't care how much a woman makes. That's the stupidest thing you can say, because when it comes to your finances that she's going to have access to, she's going to drain you financially if you're not careful and watching her. So as a man, if a woman asks you for $100, you need to be asking her the same questions that this woman was asking this man. Okay, like in the beginning stages, or if y'all started dating, y'all ain't even well over a year or two yet, start asking women, what do they need money for? Some women will take your money to buy outfits so they can go on a date with another man. Okay, some women ask you for $100 because they genuinely need it. You need to know what type of woman that you're dealing with. So care about a woman's finances. Care, because her finances usually tell you what type of person that she is. That's for starters. Okay, so she could have possibly needed this $100. Okay, she could have needed it. Is whatever. She could have been being selfish. But you need more than one experience with a woman to figure out whether that's the case. You don't judge a person by one moment. You judge a person by a pattern. Okay? If she had a consistent pattern of showing selfishness and then he conducted this experiment, then it would make sense for him to make such a drastic decision like canceling a Colorado trip that he probably should have asked her about first, because he doesn't know her schedule. Okay, I mean, it's real dope that men, want to surprise women. That's very kind-hearted with trips and gifts and all kinds of stuff. But you never know what you're dealing with. If a woman has a job, 9 times out of 10, you got to tell her in advance, because she can't just take off from work randomly. If he's dealing with a woman who is unemployed and he's asking her for $100, this woman is asking him questions back because she's unemployed. If he's dealing with a woman where he could just plan a trip spontaneously and she doesn't have to schedule anything, or she doesn't really have to move things out the way in order for her to go on this trip, she has a free, open, wide schedule, she's probably unemployed. So if he's asking her for $100, of course she's going to be like, what do you need $100 for? Like, she's probably surprised that he even asked for it. Especially if he's claiming to be like this financially stable guy. It probably just caught her off guard. Like, why is he asking me for $100? Like, he usually has bread all of the time. Like, what's really going on for him to ask me $100? She probably just picked up on the fact that it was a game and just started being real inquisitive because it was off. But men want to be providers. Okay, so they usually go after women who don't have any type of ambition, don't have a decent career, don't have anything going for themselves. So these women don't have any money. Like, I seen a man post a clip of him doing an interview with a woman where he was telling this woman that he wanted to retire his woman, and he didn't want her to do anything but basically be his woman. And those type of women don't have any money. If she doesn't have a job or a business or something that she's doing to generate some income, she doesn't have any money. So, like, if these are the women that you're going after, you can't be surprised if you ask her for $100 and she's like, why do you need $100? And a lot of men who are financially stable or claim that they make 6 figures want women who don't have any goals and ambition, because they feel like women who have goals and ambition don't know how to be compliant or cooperate. And that's so far from the truth. Like, that's not true at all. There's plenty of women out there who will refuse to be combative. We don't argue. Like, I don't argue. I really don't. Like, when I'm in a relationship, it's a hard pass for me. I'm not about to be sitting there arguing with a man. Maybe in my early 20s, but now I'm good. Like, it's a whole pass for me. I'm for my peace. So anyway, so fellas, if you're trying to figure out whether or not a woman has a dubious character, whether or not she's someone who is selfish or is trying to drain you financially, or whatever it is that you're looking for, be careful, because a lot of times karmic forces will give you exactly what you expecting, and if you start playing games, it's going to fly back at you, I promise. Don't let like a single moment or a misunderstanding or miscommunication make you change the trajectory of a relationship with a woman you actually vibing with. Like, you can't be that petty. You understand? Like, you have to like really think about it. Like, it can't be one moment or one situation, because sometimes it's really just a big misunderstanding with women. And I think a lot of times men and women are trying to bridge the gap between 2 different languages that we speak. Love languages. You cannot change the trajectory of a situation just off one moment. Let it be about a pattern. You can't always believe what everything somebody say. You can't even always believe something somebody do one time. But you definitely can put your trust in patterns. If you see a pattern, that's when you exit stage left. I'm not talking about 100 times somebody got to do something wrong to you, but if you see it for a 3rd, maybe a 4th time, it's like, okay, this is this person's character, or this is something, a habit that I'm not going to be able to deal with inside of a relationship, and just end the situation that way. But don't let it be something as dumb as this. Okay? If you have any questions or you need some advice about something, feel free to email me at soncerae@gmail.com. Okay? Make sure you like, subscribe, and share. Also, put what you think inside of the comment section. YouTube has no problem with deleting your comment or putting it under the held for review tab. Don't get mad at me if your comment does not make the cut. Okay? Leave your insults out. Try to leave profanity out. Use your vowels. Use your college vocabulary. I'm gonna need to see some intellect. Give us something to work with. Give us some real dialogue. Let's have a discussion. But leave the insults out, because YouTube will hold your comment for review. It is that sensitive, okay? So come in the comments. Let's not be at war. Let's have healthy debates. If you can handle that, you can stay inside my comment section and talk for as long as you want. Just keep the insults out. Don't be harming each other. There's no gender war on my channel. Okay, so if you got ladies in the comment section saying something you don't like, don't get up in your feelings. Ladies, if a Dusty says something crazy or remedial, let me handle them, okay? I got this under control. I appreciate you being here, all right? Thanks for spending time with me. Have vision to stay focused. Namaste.
Wordplay turns into gunplay, gunplay turns into pillow talk turns into sweet dreams turn into coffee in the morning.